Sinking driveway, settling patio, collapsing stoop, uneven pool deck. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS.
This is the afternoon edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. This is for Monday, the 24th of October. I'm James Spann. We're focused on the potential for strong to severe storms across the state tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And after that, things should be fairly quiet for the rest of this week. But a lot to talk about. Again, we'll see if we can answer all of your questions, and we also might see some rain this weekend. This is the current upper air look across the country today. And you can see we have a pretty impressive trough west of the state that will be driving the chance of strong to severe storms tomorrow, and that's setting up some active weather this evening west of Alabama. But things are pretty quiet today. We'll check the radar, and you can see we've got rain and thunderstorms across parts of Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas. And so far, no severe weather, but they could see some out there later this evening. But around here, not a bad day. Temperatures are mostly in the upper 70s. Birmingham at 77, Montgomery 81, Dothan 82. Those numbers come down a bit later this week. So this is the severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight. We have a risk of severe storms over parts of east and southeast Texas. That would include places like Tyler, Shreveport, Houston, Corpus Christi. That's the slight risk, level 2 out of 5. A marginal risk extends as far east as the Mississippi River. And then tomorrow, after 7 a.m., we have a risk of severe storms across the deep south, and you can see that that does include a fairly decent chunk of Alabama. In fact, the entire state has some type of risk. We have a level 2 out of 5, the yellow, for areas west of a line from near Huntsville down to about Talladega, Prattville, and Grove Hill. That would include Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, Jasper, Cullman, Clanton, Hamilton, Greensboro, York, Livingston, Linden, all the areas in yellow, and the rest of the state over east and south Alabama in a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe storms. This is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes, and really it has not changed much at all on the midday update. The SPC updated this about 1 o'clock, and we have that 5% circle over west Alabama and parts of east Mississippi. And that's where there's kind of a sweet spot where there's a decent combination of instability and shear. I think we'll talk much more about the timing and the threats on this here coming up in just a little bit. And then on day 3, which is Wednesday, no organized severe weather expected across the country. This is the rain for the next 7 days. And again, keep in mind, this does include the activity that we see tomorrow and any potential rain that we see over the weekend. We do expect to see a few showers around on Saturday and Sunday. And you can see rain amounts generally a little over 1 inch for parts of west Alabama, about 1/2 to 1 inch for the eastern counties of the state. And again, that's some beneficial rain we could certainly use. Check the tropics very quickly. We note the Hurricane Center is up the chance of development with that feature that's north of Puerto Rico, well east of the Outer Banks, to 70%. And this most likely is going to be one of these junk systems that stays out there for maybe a day or two. And then because of strong winds aloft and cooler water, it just fizzles. Far from land, another wave out there probably not developing. The bottom line is the Gulf stays quiet. We don't expect any of these systems to affect the United States. So let's focus in on tomorrow. What do you say? Again, this is the 12Z GFS valid tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock Central Time. And a pretty, really intense negative tilt shortwave trough that will be driving the dynamic support for severe weather. At the surface low is near St. Louis, and that should be a little under 1,000 millibars with the trailing front down the Mississippi River. So let's go to the high-res NAM. This is valid tomorrow afternoon, I should say, at 4 o'clock. And the NAM depicting a line of storms on the Alabama-Mississippi border. Storms could develop out ahead of that earlier in the day, but that main line is coming into the West Alabama border about 4 o'clock. And then we'll jump to 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and the line is weakening as it pushes into more stable air that's over East Alabama. It should be coming through Huntsville and Birmingham at that point. But again, let's go back to 4 o'clock. And, of course, this is kind of when you've got the peak of the instability with the daytime heating process. This is the surface-based cape. This is the buoyancy, the ability of air parcels to rise freely. And again, the cape is kind of pinched off over northwest Alabama. a little more robust over the southern part of the state. This is the storm relative helicity, the veering of the wind with altitude in relation to storm motion. And those values are certainly high. But again, it's fairly typical for this time of the year where the better shear is north of the higher instability axis. The thing's a little out of phase. But there should be kind of a sweet spot where the two line up. And most likely that's going to be over West Alabama. This is the STP, the significant tornado parameter. And again, this is valid tomorrow at 4. And you can see that the STP is highest over counties like Greene and Sumter, Pickens, Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Lamar, up toward Marion. So that's where you'll have to watch for the possibility of tornadoes. And again, I go back to the SPC probabilistic outlook for tornadoes, and they believe it's kind of in that same zone around Fayette, Tuscaloosa, down toward Greensboro, Demopolis, York, Livingston. So, and again, there might be an isolated tornado away from that 5% ring, but that seems to be the best possibility for that. In terms of the timing, we'll kind of open things up at noon near the Alabama-Mississippi state line, but most likely the core threat's going to come around 2 o'clock in the afternoon until maybe 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And the higher probabilities, of course, are on the western side of the state with the slight risk. And then we've got the marginal risk over East Alabama. Storm should be weakening east of Birmingham, the air more stable there, and everything should be winding down by midnight. And again, we just don't, we've not had a severe weather threat in a while, and these things are common during tornado season here, and tornado season for all practical purposes is here. It's November through May. So again, if you watch these videos, just let your friends know that tomorrow could be an active day, and to be sure they can hear warnings if they are needed, especially if they're in that yellow zone over the central and western counties of the state. And we'll watch everything very carefully as the day unfolds and keep you advised as we always do. Then on Wednesday, it's all by. The sky clearing on Wednesday, the high dropping back into the upper 60s. And Thursday should be a beautiful day, sunny, with a high in the 70s. And then Friday, the next feature is seen off to the west, but we're thinking Friday should still be a dry day here. And a decent chance we get the high school football games in with no rain Friday night. We might see a little light rain in spots Friday night. But then we'll probably deal with some rain at times over the weekend. Now, the GFS is slower on this run in terms of the showers on Saturday. Let me just say that there's very little instability, so we don't expect any severe weather this weekend and probably not much thunder. But showers are certainly a possibility Saturday, especially Saturday afternoon into the day Sunday. And the weekend's not going to be a washout, but a lot of clouds, occasional showers. And I'd say highs for the weekend mid to upper 60s. Because of the lack of sunshine. And this is a week from today, Halloween, Monday, October 31st. Got a southwest flow aloft and that little feature moving out, but there could be some lingering showers on Monday. So hopefully it'll be gone by trick-or-treat time Monday night, but again, nothing too heavy and nothing severe. Let's go out 10 days. This is Thursday of next week as we get into November. November 3rd, and again, we have a southwest flow aloft, and that looks like there might be a few showers just to the west of here. So let's check rain for Birmingham. This is coming off the GFS ensemble, and it's not quite as aggressive as the European. This is suggesting rain amounts between 1 and 2 inches between now and the 8th of November. Temperatures coming off the national blend of models. I guess the one screaming message here, we don't see any freezing weather for the next 10 to 15 days at this point. Highs mostly in the 60s and 70s, lows mostly in the 40s and 50s. And the latest 8 to 14-day guidance in the house. This is for October 31st through November the 6th, showing temperatures above average over the eastern half of the country and below average out west. And, of course, this could change, but that's the way it looks at this point. Hey, got to roll some Pepsi Kid Cam video. Had a great time today. MLK Elementary School in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, we had a big crowd, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders in the gym today, and they were just absolutely outstanding. Gave us a bunch of donuts, and man, those were good. And also one of these cool, respect the polygon. I like that. That's awfully nice. But again, I love the school there. The faculty's so great. The teachers and the kids were absolutely wonderful today. Great listeners, very attentive. So again, thanks to all of my buddies at MLK Elementary School in Tuscaloosa. So again, if you're just joining us one more time, we'll take a look at this severe weather outlook for tomorrow, and this is kind of the focus of the discussion here. And you can see we have a risk of severe storms. The main concern early afternoon until maybe 9, 10 o'clock, initially on the western side of the state. And the higher tornado probabilities are over West Alabama. And again, this is the probabilistic outlook from the SPC guys. We'll be watching for any rotating updrafts or signs of tornadoes. I think the main threat's going to be strong straight-line winds with this. But still, there could be an isolated tornado or two. So just be in a place where you can hear severe weather warnings if they are needed. And, of course, we'll be here if that is the case. So that's it for the afternoon edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. We'll have notes over on the blog at alabamawx.com. Scheduled to be in Hale County tomorrow morning. I think I'll probably be able to make that. I'll be back in the building here, strapped in, ready for duty by 12 o'clock. Had a couple of events we had to postpone tomorrow. But anyway, if you can, watch us this evening for more on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Sinking driveway? Call Alabama Professional Services. Settling patio? Call APS. Uneven pool deck? Call APS. Collapsing stoop? Call APS. Cracking sidewalk? That's right, call APS. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS. Call Alabama Professional Services today.